Hello, good morning. Hey, Fody. How's it going? Your jam game turned out so well. Still working on it. Still doing some edits. I will follow the progress updates channel on the Two Nerdy Nerds Discord, so I can see a little bit. I know it's hard to put a good jam game down. There's all these little things that can be done. Oh yeah, no worries. I was just asking about your jam game. It seemed like you're still working on it. It's really good. I don't want to do this. More updates. Part of the editor you're working on today. So we're kind of going to be doing a flood fill. We're setting up a flood fill algorithm that's going to basically work from the outside in. And so first it's going to identify all of the tiles that are exposed to space, like the ones that are not enclosed. And then it will identify, all the tiles that are within certain rooms. Because we're going to need to do that. We need to know that information for the autotiler. Because we basically got three types of tiles. We have tiles that are for interior rooms. So these will have nice looking walls and stuff, for interior rooms. We have tiles for middle. I'm calling like middle hall, which are like tiles that are like fully enclosed. Like you can't normally see them except thanks to the cutaway system. So those are going to look very like industrial, like just pipes and conduits and stuff like that. And very dark because there's no light in there. And then we'll have a third type of tile, which is like the exterior tile, which is going to be like the outer shell. And so for the autotiler to be able to pick, it needs to know what kind of space the tile is next to. So we need this little flood fill thing that will let us know whether we're outside or inside, basically. I feel like checking an array if it has a value is maybe a little slower than checking a dictionary if it has a value. So we might end up using a dictionary. Might also end up using a packed byte array. But that's only if like performance ends up becoming an issue. At the moment, I think we'll just put tiles into these partitioned areas. can take a slice of them. Dictionary is kind of like a JS object, right? You have near zero. Yeah, no worries. I don't have a ton of Godot experience. And honestly, the primitive Godot engine types are like kind of confusing to me. But like, if we do something like this, if we ask about whether Godot has a hash set, then someone down here says something like, someone said something about this. Someone talked about the performance of it. I don't think it really matters. We should probably just use an array because that's the functionality that we need. Yeah, so doing this stuff in a dictionary is amortized 01, so that's like fine. But, and we don't actually probably want to use a binary tree or anything like that, so we're just going to be simple. We're just going to do things simpler. Oh, there's a proposal about sets? Interesting. Oh, from 4 years ago. It's probably not going to happen. So how do I want to organize this? I think I want to... Well, this system doesn't know whether we're working through the outside or the inside, so I think we do want to do the partition style. So we'll just say... Although if we use a dictionary, we get protection against accidentally adding something twice, which is kind of nice. That's not that hard to deal with. I guess that doesn't matter because of how this flood fill is structured. Yeah, unique keys are pretty nice. But I actually don't think that matters because of how we're doing this. A flood fill isn't going to accidentally add something to two different... Like, you're not going to... There's no tile that's going to belong to two different fills. As long as we do 4 direction and not, like, 8 direction or anything crazy. Actually, I guess we're doing 6 direction because we're going up and down. So we'll say... Yeah, we'll just add it. We're going to be using a stack. Yeah, stack. I'm going to append the current tile. Oh, there's an indent there. I was like, why is this not working? Then for direction and direction. So we need to actually change our directions. I think this is just 4 direction right now. Yeah, it is. Alright, so we'll check all 6 directions here. All 6 adjacent directions. Up, down, left, right, forward, back. We need to change our boundaries to be 3D then, don't we? How are we using this? Where I'm limiting it. You mean up, down is the Z direction? Yeah. Because our tile maps are layered on top of each other, so we have a Z, even though we're in 2D. It's just our Z index. Where is this function? Oh, it belongs to the hull. Wait, no way. Oh, I'm clamping it here. Interesting. That seems... Actually, that's okay. This needs to be a rect 3i. Is that not a thing? Rect 3? Why did I think that was... Huh. Oh, it's AABB. That's the Rect 3i. I think. That's the 3D Rect. So I think I want to do some screening when adding the additional ones here. We're gonna say something like, we'll check to make sure, well, we can do a number of things. We could check to make sure it's within bounds. What we want to do, because we want to work our way around the edges. So you're not a Rect 2i, you're like an AABV. There's no version of the AABB that uses integer coordinates. Cool. Well, that's not ideal. I'm just going to use 2 vector 3 AIs. Here's the other question. Do we want to keep track of empty, like truly empty space? I don't think so. So before we append this, we need to say if current tile or if full tile map has current tile. That won't work actually. The full tile map is keeping track of all of the layers, so we need another object. I want to do this. Maybe something like occupied tile or occupied space. I don't know. We may also make this an array. This way we can at least just keep track of if a space is occupied, because there could be like 3 or 4 tiles in a given space. There could be a floor tile, a wall tile, a door tile, other tiles that don't matter, that we don't care about for this purpose. We want to say if occupied space has this current tile. So we don't want to use this check to control the fill, because we want to flood fill through empty spaces, but we don't want to add them to the list of partition spaces at the end. I do this. Nice. Type safety. All right, but then down here, we need to be able to check. We want to make sure basically that there isn't So we really just have two main groups of tiles. We have floors and walls might also include doors or like full obstructions, like a bunch of debris or something that fully blocks off an area. So what are we gonna call those? Barrier. Something like that. Barrier tiles. We keep using arrays until we eventually need a dictionary. We call them like horizontal barriers. Those are for the things that block the flood fill left and right and forward or back. And like that, horizontal barriers. We can also have vertical barriers. So we keep track of the floors and ceilings as like vertical barriers and the walls and doors as like horizontal barriers. So directions is not great. We want like horizontal. And maybe another vertical. I need to check different arrays depending on which one I'm working on. Probably a better way to do that. What do you call a cute door? I don't know. You tell me, Dr. Gambit. Adorable? Oh, you're killing me. Get out. I don't like doing this twice. One for the horizontal and one for the vertical. Or 4 times for the horizontal and then 2 times for the vertical as like separate loops, but whatever. The only other way to do it would be to like evaluate the offset. Isn't better. Okay, so we're going to use this, not direction, offset. We're just doing a quick check that this, if there isn't a barrier here, we'll continue the flood fill in that direction. We need to say, we also need to say occupied. Or wait, no. We do that check up here. We check to see if there's a tile here. Alright, ads. For a minute, drink my coffee. How's it going, Dr. Gambit? Okay, so we have to do some things. So when we place tiles, now this is getting messy because of the paint preview, because we're actually manipulating the tile map when we're previewing where the action is going to be, what the action is going to be. We need to do like this. So when there's a brush stroke, we basically need to recalculate a number of things here. Use the tile map snapshot for this, maybe? No, we can't. This sucks. Okay. Basically need to go through. after we make the change. So we'll grab this. Do this at least. This is a lot of extra work, but this is a pretty small world here, so I don't think it's going to matter. Oh, we need to basically go through. Oh, this sucks. I don't want to do it like this. Paint over tile at. Maybe we'll do it here. Maybe we'll keep like a running count. That doesn't really work though because of the power of undo. Hey, Friendmaster 2000, how's it going? We're working on a little tile map editor. We're doing some things. We're grappling with using like a flood fill to be able to tell when we're making rooms, like when we're making enclosed spaces. But I'm grappling with some previously written code here that might not make that easy. How are you doing? I can get all of the tile data, but I don't know how to like go through it. Oh, what am I talking about? We just grab the get used cells and we just iterate. For tile in ship player dot get used cells. Ooh, get used cells by ID. This could be useful. This is actually maybe what we need. Doing okay. Haven't been on Twitch in forever. You big Godot fan? Oh, nice. Yeah, we picked up Godot last year. We're enjoying it. We're working on like an isometric little strategy game, kind of like a FTL, faster than light. The difference for us is that we have like verticality, like we have multiple decks stacked on top of each other instead of just the one. So definitely adding some complications. Wait, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out. Stopping by. Working on anything? Any game projects? I could keep a running tally, except for the whole undo action. Where's undo action? Here it is. When we restore a restore tile map snapshot, we're going to need to basically do the same thing. Not great. Unless we just keep it as part of the snapshot. That's not a bad idea. extra memory, but since we're keeping a snapshot of anytime we're making a change to a tile map, we have the picture of the full tile map. We might actually want to include some of this information here instead of just rebuilding it separately. It's extra memory, but it will improve the responsiveness of the tool. And at the moment, I don't feel like we're going to run into any kind of memory issue. You can just make it part of capturing a tile map snapshot. Okay, maybe there's an easier way to store this, because we're thinking about storing this as vector 3s. But we might store it differently. We might store it indexed by z, like z indexed, like instead of having it just be vector 3i's. Because if we have them be vector 2's and then we index it by the z, we can just pull data wholesale out of the tile map and we don't have to process it at all. That's probably better for this, at least. Although keeping track of horizontal or vertical barriers by layer doesn't make a ton of sense, but maybe that's what we need to do. Do I have other arrays like that right at the moment? I actually don't anymore. I've managed to move away from that. We could do this. We could do an array and then a packed vector. Oh, we can't do vector 3i's arrays. That's unfortunate. We could pack the integers. Pack byte array. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Just have a nested array. You just can't define the type of a nested array. Nested typed collections, which is unfortunate. I don't think it really matters, though. Probably slow us down a little bit. But honestly, maybe this is the case where we just have a dictionary. No, we want arrays. We want nested arrays because then we can just copy over the whole array. You look at tile map layer. Yeah. We can get used cells by ID. To look at our tile set. I've been thinking about how to structure our tile set for this. We've got floor tiles and then wall tiles cut away. We'll need to remake this. Let's think about it first. I think I'm gonna have them go in pairs. It's like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or like maybe the odd is maybe the even is the floor and the odd is the door. Not the door, the wall. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I think that's good. So what we're going to do, well, whenever we capture or restore a tile map snapshot, we're going to basically say, and tile map data. Okay, so we're just feeding in the data from this layer. Go to the snapshot. I think I do want to put this as part of the snapshot because I kind of questioned having a class for this. We could have just had the byte array by itself, pretty much. I guess we need some information about... Well, no, we could just put that information. We could do what we did with the saving and loading, where we put it at the front of the byte array. But I think adding some additional functionality to this class kind of justifies its existence better. So we would say... say something like occupied. Well, No, I don't know if I want to store that information here. Then we have to store a copy of it every time we make one of these, and I don't want to do that. But we can use that process to help us here. You can basically say... something like record barrier tiles or something. I don't know. Gotta organize this a lot better soon. So this is gonna go... So what is this gonna do? Oh, there's a reason we want to... Oh, we know from the layer whether it's a floor or a wall or a door. That's actually okay. We actually don't need to pass in anything except the layer. So when we get to the layer, we can basically say... also have a clear barrier tiles. Occupied spaces? I don't know. All this tile placements or something like that. No, that's not really... That doesn't really communicate what I want. Occupied space. All the spaces with tiles. I don't know. Better, I think, than occupied tiles. Spaces with tiles. We gotta clean up a lot of this. I know I just said that, but I'm adding some cruft. Putting this all in the ship in like a single ship editor class made sense at one point, but it's getting out of control. Reset. Tile occupation. That doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to clear the actual arrays. I'm not going to call a function to do that. Actually, I could call it at the top of this. At the moment, we can just say, oh, we'd say spaces with tiles dot clear. We'd say horizontal barriers dot clear. We'd say, oops. Say vertical barriers dot clear. I don't love that. Okay, we're basically going to be re-recording this information whenever we change the tile map. Which kind of sucks, but I don't think it's going to be that performance intensive. So variable used or tiles is map layer dot get used cells. Then we can basically match off of the tile map layer dot number, tile number, deck number, layer number, layer number. Am I calling this? Oh, ship layer. This isn't a tile map layer. This is a ship layer. Forgot that's a named class. Maybe we can put this as a function of the ship layer. Something the ship layer can report. Like it can report where all its barriers are. Which makes sense because we actually want to change that at runtime. Like if like a wall collapses or a ceiling collapses. Maybe the ceiling collapsing removes the vertical barrier, but it adds like a horizontal barrier because it collapses onto the ground underneath it. We'll see. We might want that for some purposes. The ship layer, do you... Layer number. I feel like I probably should change that to layer index. That's how I'm using it, right? Yeah, just calling it number is not very descriptive. So we'll match based on the layer number. So if it's 0, we'll pass for now. Actually, if it's 0, what we want to know about. We want to know about the walls. So we'd say actually we need to pass the ship deck in too. Say horizontal barriers ship deck. Deck number is... So we don't need to declare that, we can just say this. Okay. This should be relatively easy. We're just basically grabbing the used cells and we're indexing with the Z index. Oh, we're going by layer number here. So that's actually vertical barriers. Horizontal barriers. Actually, no, yeah. Spaces with tiles needs to be a dictionary. Or it could also be it feels like very bad, like we're not. Tracking a lot of bullshit here. Space with tiles. I don't know if I want that to be indexed by deck number, by the Z index. But it's going to be a pain to record otherwise. Whereas recording it here is easy. Maybe I don't want to do it this way either. Maybe I don't need this spaces with tiles shit. We're just partitioning space. And partitioning the outside space is fine, because then we can check pretty quickly if space is outside. Maybe I don't need this concept. Get rid of it for a minute. We're not going to really have sparse data anyway, so should be fine. We want to append these. We don't want to just assign them. There might... Well, in this case, we could just assign them. But we're going to append them. And array.append takes an array, right? Oh, it's append array. I see. the stupid ant. Okay. It's like, why doesn't that work? Okay. So we just append the tile, whether it's an empty or an occupied tile. Actually, what we should do, we do need to check, but the check needs to be is if I guess we can use an AABB here, can't we? The search bounds. Gonna be an AABB. Start at -8, -8, and wait. Position, size. Actually, I see why we had a list of spaces. I guess the list of vertical barriers is actually the list of tiles that are with spaces. Interesting. But we're storing it kind of weirdly. Wolby rated me with a party of 2 viewers. Hey, Wolby. B rated. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Let me show you what we're working on. Get rid of these errors. How was the stream? What have you been doing? Welcome in. I don't think I've seen you around here before. We're working on some tools for our game here. An FTL-like, an FTL style game. I'm in the middle of some stuff, so we have a bunch of errors. Let me get rid of those. We're making kind of like an FTL-like this is a game. This is kind of the visual that we're going for. Kind of more of an isometric 2D kind of deal. Kind of like a classic Star Trek kind of look. If you played FTL Faster Than Light, we're taking a lot of inspiration from that. A little inspiration from some other simulation style games like RimWorld and stuff. But we've got a very basic little 2D world here. We've got our ship. Stream was good, making an unofficial game companion app in Godot. Got all but one thing on your list done. Nice, nice. Destroy that to-do list. An unofficial game companion app. Game companion app. What would that be like? What would that work like? But yeah, we have a stack of decks here. So this is our little ship. It's 3D, sort of. It's pseudo 3D. So you can peer into it as you navigate the different layers. I'm not really happy with how the doors go semi-transparent. We need to figure something else out there. But I painstakingly made this by hand. So we're working on a tool set to make it easier to build more of these ships, because I need to rebuild these. So that's kind of what we're working on, is this tool set. At the moment, where's my scene list? There it is. Got a little editor here. The game has a crafting system, but doesn't have a shopping list system for you to know what you need for bulk crafting. Oh, I see. So it's like a kind of add-on to improve the game, kind of like a World of Warcraft add-on or something like that. But we can build our little ships in here, but it's really rudimentary. There's no auto-tiling system, so it looks a lot uglier than my manually created system. We also can't tell when we've made a room like this. But we can do all this. We have undo redo that we did last week or a couple weeks ago. We can also save it and load it, so we can save this. All of this runs in-game, so we have a little in-game ship editor. You can reload it. Now we're back to where we started here. But I'm really need to spruce up this system. So what we're working on now is a flood fill. So that we can basically flood fill this whenever there's a change and see if we've like made a room. Like, let's say I do this, I make this space, and I put walls around it, wall it off, and then I go up here to the next level. And I put a ceiling on it. We should now know that this is like an interior space. The game can't really tell that yet. And we kind of need that for the auto-tiler, because, yeah, right now there's no auto-tiling happening. So the game can't really reason about the space it's being asked to understand. But that sounds cool. Game companion app. That's got to be really easy with Godot games, huh? I mean, I'm assuming you're working in Godot. Maybe you're not. But, like, just because of the nature of Godot games being, a lot of the resources are stored as text and stuff. Gotta be pretty easy to make content for a game. It's pretty cool. But yeah, appreciate you stopping by, hanging out. You're working in Godot. You're not linking to the actual game at all. Oh, interesting, interesting. That's that must be a challenge on how to approach that. To make an add-on for a game without directly linking to the game at all. That's cool. All right, we're setting this up as an AABB. I don't think that's right. So the problem that we're navigating predominantly is that everything we do is 2D. Like, we're using the new... We're in 4.3, so we're using the new tile map layer. So there's a bunch of different individual layers, and there's a bunch of different individual Z indexes. So, like, each of these is a separate set of tile map layers, and we're trying to reason about them in 3D, which is just a little complicated, because they're very much 2D objects. So that's kind of what we're working on right now, managing that. Oh, nice. Oh, you're my teammate. Awesome. What a great new team, indie game developers. I appreciate that. I think this is the first time someone's found me through the team list. That's awesome. I'm concerned I'm thinking about this the wrong way. I'm making these like complicated data structures of like keeping track of the horizontal barriers, the vertical barriers. I think those are good for the flood fill. We need to decide. So we can tell if a space is occupied because it's in one or the other. But We aren't adding it. Okay, no, I know what we're gonna do. This is fine. So we can say something like, well, can we though? Can we say something like this? I'm basically struggling with whether, since we're flood filling and we're going from the outside, we're getting the first partition that we're filling is the outside itself. And I'm actually searching out beyond the limits of this area. Everything we get is 2D, so we're kind of struggling with transforming all that information into 3D in a way that's consistent. So recording these barriers like this is okay. I mean, the computer has other opinions, but... So what we're basically, we need to decide if we're going to do, before we add this to our list, our flood fill list, we need to decide if we want to check it against anything. I kind of want to check it to make sure it's within the bounds of the build area, but that's... Actually, no, that's easy to do. That's actually all we need to do. We just need to say if build bounds dot has point, and then just make a small, just grab the 2D elements from the tile. Tile.x, tile.y. Because we're actually searching outside of the buildable area so that we can search around the edges in case someone builds all the way out to the limit. But we don't want to add that point to the list because it's outside of the area. Although, no, we do need to do that. No, we don't. So we can do a boundary check. Although, would it be easier to just do it this way? Might be easier just to do it this way. We'll have build bounds, and maybe we'll go back to having a search bounds. Flood bounds. So if flood bounds has this point, we'll add it. And that way we'll be able to, later on, we can just ask the partition, the 0th partition, which is the one that has all of the exterior ones, the outer space tiles, if a tile exists there, and we don't have to do a boundary check. But we do need to do a boundary check here. So for offset, for any horizontal offset, we need to make sure, we need to say, if there isn't a barrier blocking this tile, why is this not working? As on base vector 3i. Did I rename these incorrectly? Array, oh yeah, I did. What was the reason to do it this way? I don't think there was a good reason. Make it so people can't build out there, then you don't have to check there. Yeah. Well, the reason that we're doing this is... The reason that we want to know whether areas are outside or inside is, like I said, for the autotiler, because we're using different texture surfaces. So like the texture that we're going to use for the outside of the ship is different than the texture we're going to use for the inside of the ship. So a wall needs to know if it's on the outside of the ship or not, like if it's facing the outside of the ship. So if you build all the way to the outside of the ship, you need to know. You still need to know whether, it's outside past that, whether it's outer space beyond that. And we could do that with a boundary check, but if we're able to do it by just checking our partitions, then we don't have to we just save ourselves a check. We just account for that, which I think I'm happy with. So the barriers, do the barriers need to care about this? I think they should just be arrays of arrays. It's not great, but it makes it easier to grab, because then we can just grab, we can just grab them straight from the tile map layer. So we want to make sure, first we want to make sure that if, this is why it's complaining, it's because I don't have a concept for current tile anymore. Vertical barriers. No, just make it all invisible. And have a plaque that says previous owner, Wonder Woman. That'll work. That'll work sometimes. I'm also thinking about cases where someone's floating out in space. Like if someone's trying to do a spacewalk, I'm kind of curious about how we're going to handle that. We might eventually need to change some of this stuff for spacewalking, but that's fine. We'll get there. We'll get there. So what we can also do So here we need to check the boundaries. We need to say if flood bounds has point tile plus offset. Oh, we got ads coming. So if we're within the bounds, we should just, so we should say, we should do this a little differently. We should say tile coords. Let's record this differently. Initial tile. Coords. Initial. Oh, Z index is a local. Wait, why? Oh, because this is a node 2D. I see. I'm gonna say tile XY. I'm constantly like grappling with whether to compress the Z index into a vector 3. I'd just do it most of the time, I think. So it makes sense. I'm just gonna pull it out for this so that I just have this and I'm not constantly constructing new stuff. The flood bounds won't work for the vertical, so we need to say if tile Z plus offset less than I don't want to hard code this, but I think I'm going to hard code this. The limit of using rect2i's is I need to store the vertical information separately. I need a way of getting this information. For now, let's hard code it. Who cares? Six, 5, 5, right? Are the offsets? Oh, that's weird. Call this like adjacent. Adjacent. XY. Get these Z indexes out of here. or offset in adjacent XY. And instead of looping this, we're going to just say tile z plus 1 is less than or equal to vertical max. And if not vertical barriers, tile z plus 1 has tile xy. Append tile plus vector 3i dot 1. We'll do the same thing, just backwards, just down instead of up. -1 greater than or equal to vertical min. All right, this should work now. We just got to do it. Now when we capture or restore a snapshot, we need to do that, and then for each layer we say board barrier tiles ship deck dot deck number ship layer. We do the same thing up here. It's going to slow us down a little bit, but hopefully not too much. We only have to do it in 2 places. Whenever there's a change to a tile map, we're doing this with kind of with whole cloth here, which is not ideal. And then flood fill. What are we going to do for the flood fill for now? Oh, we're not actually doing the flood fill yet. We're just keeping track of the barriers. I kind of want a little debugging thing. That like marks them. I guess I don't need to do that. I kind of want to. I don't want to mark the floors. Let's say something like if... How do I get a... I need an editor hint. Godot in editor hint. I want to be able to tell if I'm in the editor. There's like a engine.isEditorHint. Oh wait, that won't work because we're not running this in the engine. Whatever, this is going to be some code that I'll strip out. I want to basically say... How am I going to do this? We're going to say... ship all dot get child index is going to be tile z, and from there we get child 0. Dot set. So let's just get it first. I'm gonna say variable floor tile floor layer. Should work. From the ship hall, you get, these should report in order. So we want to get the one for this Z. Then for there, we just get the 0th one, which is the floor one. We're just going to color the floor. We're just going to color a floor a random color. Say variable color is color. Is there like a way to generate like a random color? I mean, I guess I could just say random. Say variable shade is rand f 0 to 1. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Rand f, and we're gonna say color shade. That won't work. We would need to generate 3 different ones. Let's generate 3 different rands. And then it will be a consistent color per partition, at least. This is going to be pretty rough, but it should be okay. I just want to make sure this is working before we move on to the next step. Floor layer dot set, or we'll say if floor layer dot has. Oh, hold on. This get this as a ship layer so that the autocomplete works. Has tile map layers not have an as get cell. What happens if I set cell on an invalid cell coordinate? I want to see if this has this cell exists. Oh, I can do that because I'm recording them. We're going to say if... We're going to say if vertical barriers dot has, or vertical barriers tile z dot has tile xy. So if we have a floor here, then we'll get it and we'll color it. That'll be our little debug tool for now. Dot set. So, or no, dot. Oh, we gotta get the tile data and then we gotta change its modulate. Oh, this sucks. This is gonna be hard because we actually will have to tell it that there's a runtime, there's a data runtime update. Maybe we add a function to the layer that's like color tile. We already have a use tile data runtime update and okay, no, we can't do this. Can't do this little debug trick. Because changing a tile map layer at runtime is like not trivial. Oh, the adjacent XYs do need to be vector 3s. They just, all their Z's need to be 0. Oops. There we go. Well, this is ugly, but it'll serve its purpose for now. We can run it and we will have no way of knowing whether it works. So, but where will we put this? Flood fill from initial tile. This is another thing we guess we have to do. I guess we do this after we capture or restore a tile map snapshot. Oh, this is not great. How do I do this elsewhere? Because this is iterative. We have to keep going until we've... until we've explored everything. I did this somewhere else. Let me see how we handled that. So, flood fill floors. How did I do this so that it was exhaustive? Initial tile. So okay, so we're gonna have a... So the unfilled tiles is gonna need to be all of the tiles. I don't love that. Is this how this has to happen? So we get all the unfilled tiles, which is all the tiles. And then while that is not empty, we set an initial tile. We pick one by random, at random. And then we go through, we do the flood fill. And we erase them as we go. Okay. We can do that. We're going to do this anytime the tile map layer changes. Ugh. I need to start moving some of this code out somewhere else. So we're going to do that here. Put this as like a function that controls this other one. Something like func flood fill working area flood fill ship building area, and it's going to take an array, which is the unfilled tiles. Now, how are we going to get a list of unfilled tiles? Can I take a dictionary and like just grab... I guess I can pass in... If I have a full tile map list... Oh, but that's not what we want. We don't actually want a list of the full tile map. We want a list of all of the tiles in the space. So that we can actually maybe construct mathematically. Maybe we just have one of those. We could call it like volume. It's not an area, I guess it's a volume. So flood fill shipbuilding volume. This is something we could make once based on the build bounds. So let's do that. Let's say shipbuilding volume. And it's going to be an array of vector 3 i's. And we'll just build it once on startup here. We'll say shipbuilding volume is... Actually, we'll say is an array. I don't declare the size of arrays anymore at all here, huh? What if I make it a packed... Oh no, again, there's no packed vector 3i. This is already... So we'll just say something like for... range. How powerful is range? Can range give me like a vector 3? No. It's just one dimension. If I say vector 3i. We're just going to iterate through the whole volume. For x in range 0. X in range, it's always going to start with 0. We're going to say... oh wait, no, it's not going to start with 0. It's going to say build bounds dot position dot x build bounds dot end dot x. Is end for rect2i inclusive or exclusive? No, it's inclusive. I like say for point in rec2i. Is that something I could do? Or could I get a list of points or something? I don't know. There's probably an easier way to iterate through this, but I'm just going to do this simple. The boomer loop. The 3D boomer loop. Vertical max. So let's... I don't want to do this the other way, but... I'll do this. I'll do it like this. I'm going to say shipbuilding volume dot and vector 3i x, y, z. Okay, so this will at least give us an array of the volume, and then we can just duplicate that and pass it in. Be fine. Let's snooze the alarm or the ads because we're probably gonna wrap it up here in a minute. I gotta get to work. I just want to try running this and see if it crashes horribly. Unfilled tiles is an array. This is gonna basically then say it's gonna have the same logic as we had here. So it's gonna say while not unfilled tiles is empty. Hey, still needs work. How's it going? Do I want to have this actually be an array? Do I want to separate this by layer? No, I don't. No, I don't. This is a little awkward because of how the partitions are going. Oh, no, this is fine. Partitions aren't layer-based. But how are you doing? How are you doing? Still needs work. We're trying to wrap it up here. I don't think I'm going to get all of this written out. I'm trying to do this flood fill algorithm, which we're going to have no visual feedback as to whether it's working or not. So we're going to say variable initial tile. Wait, why do we say initial tile? Pick random. We're going to say flood fill from initial tile, and this will be unfilled tiles dot pick random. And then we're going to say for, or what we're going to say is partition tiles, say variable partition count equals 0, or partition count. Pretty good. You've got a coffee today? Nice. Yesterday, the coffee grinder broke. Oh, no. Tried to smash your hand, which ended up... Oh, you tried to smash the coffee by hand, which ended up with weak coffee. You got a French press and a hand grinder instead of electric. Coffee's way better. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, hand grinders are good. They're a workout for sure. I have one. I haven't really used it. I've used it on vacation once or twice when I've gone somewhere without a coffee grinder. But nice. Good coffee is important, and getting a good coffee grinder is hard. Value of type array vector 3 cannot be assigned to a variable type of vector 3 I. What? Is this not an array of arrays? Oh, it's not. We're working on a flood fill algorithm, which is basically going to... it's basically going to check every empty cell around the ship. Not every empty cell. It's going to check every cell in the volume in which we're building the ship, and it's going to basically see where the exposed areas are. So first it will check and it will find out where all of the... where all of the outside spaces are. And then it will check all of the inside spaces. And it'll basically give me a list of all the tiles in the different rooms. So we're basically constructing lists of rooms, of like what tiles are in each individual room. And we need this for the autotiler, because the autotiler needs to know whether the wall is facing the outside or the inside. We're not going to get through all of this. It's kind of a pain in the ass at the moment, because we might get this all working and we won't be able to tell if it's working until we get the autotiler going. We're going to need a refactor soon because this is getting pretty messy. So we actually want, instead of picking from a random, instead of this unfilled pick random, we want initial tile. Variable initial tile, and the initial tile is actually going to be we're going to pick a tile that is very likely going to be flood bounds dot position dot x, flood bounds position dot y. We're going to pick a very, very low tile that can't possibly have something in it, so that we're guaranteed to get the outside tiles in the 0 index of the partition tiles. We basically want to make sure the exterior is always first, because that way we can say all of the outside tiles are in 0. Index 0 of the partition tiles list. Position.x. Flood bounds. As it fills the array, you could temporarily color each tile to see what is happening within this. I wanted to do that. If we do that, we need to go into our tile map layer and do some additional work. Because updating a tile map at runtime requires some additional steps. And there are steps that we've already set up to work with the cutaway system. So getting them to work with this system as well would be kind of tough. We'd almost have to carve out the cutaway system while we run this system. Which is possible, but that's kind of a pain, I think. Vertical min. So we're going to set the initial tile by hand. But then... initial tile. Yeah. I think, unfortunately, we're going to just... I don't know. We could also just peruse the list and do some tricks. Like, we could make a closet, basically, that's fully enclosed and see if that shows up in the partition tile list. Like, we'll probably do that. We'll probably just look at it by hand to an extent. It was unfilled. while initial tile, so while partitioned tiles. Oh, this sucks. Actually, we're gonna say while not unfilled tiles dot has unfilled tiles pick. Well, unfilled tiles pick random. No, as long as we erase everything out of the unfilled yeah, okay, we can do this. So once we set the partition, we need to basically say we also need to increment the partition count. We'll say for tile in partitioned tiles partition count. If unfilled tiles dot has tile erase. I'm out of ad snoozes, so we gotta end in the next couple of minutes here. Build tiles dot erase tile. What if I try to erase a tile that's not there? No, do not erase entries while iterating over the array. Oops. Yeah, we're not technically doing that. I think this is gonna be a small enough list that we don't really care. But that is a... This is going to be slow, which is not great, because what we need this system to be is fast, and it is not going to be fast. It is going to be slow. But it's operating over a small enough set that maybe we don't care. We're just going to need to test it to see. So when we load a ship, we are going to want to... After we restore it, well, I just want to put this as part of it. We're going to put these in here. I'm going to say, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to... Oh, this is going to suck. Can always change it later if it's too slow. Yeah, true. We're going to have to do that. I'm going to have to think about the structure of this a little more. We're like, right now we're in a position where we're going to need to do this flood fill basically anytime we make any change to the tile map. Because of how we've hooked this in here. And that's going to be like really inefficient. But maybe, again, maybe it doesn't matter. Since all of this stuff just only runs in the editor. Although maybe some of this doesn't only run in the editor, but it's not going to run very often, so it should be fine. But I'm going to have to think about where to hook this into the code. And since it's almost certainly going to run or throw up errors, we are probably going to save this for tomorrow. But this has been a nice day. Thanks for everyone hanging out. I know we're kind of doing some boring stuff here, but we're going to get some behavior soon. And once we get the autotiler working, it's going to be awesome. We're just going to basically be like, we can just draw ships. Just draw out a ship design like in minutes. Instead of painstakingly selecting tiles one by one and then drawing them out. We'll just be able to drag out shapes and build ships super fast. And that's going to be great because we're going to need dozens, if not hundreds, of ship designs for this game. Yeah, I know it's slow going right now while we figure that out. So, appreciate everyone hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow, as always. Same time, same place. Still trying to figure out a way if I can change my work schedule to be able to stream a little later, but haven't managed it yet. Still needs work. I don't know if you're in the Discord. I don't think you are, but we got a Discord now if you want live stream alerts. Or if anyone else wants live stream alerts, wants to get notified when we go live. Isn't really too much going on there otherwise right now, but hopefully we'll be able to build the community. Yeah, no pressure. I know everyone has too many Discords. I know I have too many Discords. Or too many servers I'm in. But trying to help people get notified when we're going live. But yeah, appreciate everyone. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you next time. Bye.